Good morning to our fantastic Moreland School students. First, I'd like to say thank you and well done for the way you've coped with the challenging times we're all experiencing. I've had feedback from lots of parents and carers about how you're dedicating yourselves to your home learning, and I'm extremely proud to be your head teacher. One of the things that makes our school so special is the Moreland School Way. An important part of the Moreland School Way is how we all support each other, especially in more challenging times. We're all proud to be part of our positive school community with fantastic students and talented staff that care for each other. The Moreland School Way is important. It's the foundation of our school and something that we should all be very proud of. The Moreland School Way means different things to different people. And Mr. Williams is going to tell us a little bit about what our own students and staff have said it means to them.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. I'm sure you can all remember the assembly that Mr. Venart and I delivered at the start of term 4 when we spoke about the Moreland School Way. And we asked you to write down what you thought the Moreland School Way was and then hand that piece of work into reception. Lots of you did that and we were really pleased. And lots of them were very similar, which is a really positive thing. So what I've managed to do is on this slide, you will see what the Moreland School Way means to many of you. Now, you might recognise some of the comments that you've made. They might be similar to the comments that you've made, but I'm going to read this out so that we can all follow it, because for me, it beautifully sums up everything that I think the Moreland School Way is. But what's really impressive is that these words have actually come from you. What does the Moreland School Way mean to you? It means being kind and respectful to other pupils around you. It means being punctual and taking pride in your work. It means taking pride in your appearance and always looking smart. It means being polite and always saying good morning or good afternoon, smiling at others and holding doors open for others. It means always doing your best. It means always making progress, working as a team, being loyal and being supported to be successful. It means demonstrating high standards and being the best person you can be in every lesson, every day. It means having good values and developing physically and mentally, and not just about getting good grades, but becoming a better person. It means being a risk taker, taking pride in our school and being confident. It means taking on challenges and learning from your mistakes so that you can become a better person. It means thinking about other people and always being considerate. It means having high expectations of yourself and high expectations of the school. This is the Moreland School Way. I was really proud when I read that, and it's something which is absolutely crucial to our school. Mr. Venart has already mentioned that. And I just want you to focus on that during this period of time when we are all at home, because however strange it may sound, I'm sure many of you listening to this now, given a choice, would actually quite like to be back at school, because there are lots of things that we're missing out on. But while we are at home, there are some things that I want to remind you about, and it's online safety. Now, you've had assemblies quite recently, before we broke up, or before the school closed, should I say, about online safety. But I think it's really important that I remind you again about what you should be doing at home and what you should not be doing at home when you are online. So you can see up there, number 1, please don't ever post any personal information about yourself. You know that, but please never do that. You need to think very carefully before posting pictures or videos of yourself, because you've been told before, as soon as that goes online, there is never a way for that to be removed. People may want to find out about you. They may want to look at your postings, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it may be, but you need to keep your privacy settings as high as possible. Do not have your settings so that just anybody can access your social media profile. Never ever give out your passwords. Please don't make a password a really simple password. And then please don't ever befriend somebody you do not know. We've talked about that many times, but you please need to keep reminding yourself and never ever do that. There are situations that we've had to deal with where if your privacy settings are not very high, you may have been contacted by somebody you don't know, and they may have suggested meeting up online. Now, I'm sure most of you listening to this right now would never, ever consider meeting up with somebody online that you've actually never met and you don't know who it is. So if that is ever suggested to you, please don't ever meet up with them. Speak to your parent or carer, and then you can get some help. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Remember that if somebody posts a message to you saying they're in year 8 at a school somewhere in the country, they may not be who they are. They may well be somebody very different. And please don't just believe everything you see or read online. So think very carefully about what you say before posting something online, because once again, that can never be retracted. And please respect other people's views. You may well see something or hear something or read something that you don't agree with, but it doesn't mean you have to respond with a rude comment. That's really important, and that's crucial to the Moreland School way as well, being respectful to people. And if you do see something online that makes you feel uncomfortable, if it makes you feel unsafe or worried, you make sure you just leave the website or whatever social media platform you're using, turn off your computer, and then go and tell an adult that you trust immediately, because we all want to make sure that you are safe online. Now, most of that was not new to any of you, but I thought it was very important that I remind you about that. But unfortunately, one thing I do want to comment on is that already this week, the teachers are all in contact with each other. Your parents and carers are in contact with us a lot. And already I've had to deal with 2 comments that people have posted online that have been quite unkind. So I need to remind everybody that if you are using WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever platform you are using to stay in contact with your friends, don't ever post any unkind comments. Remember that we are often going to see these comments. If your parents and carers see them, they know that they will be able to inform us, and then there will be serious consequences for anybody or any student at the Moreland School who is bullying anybody online or making really unkind comments. That's not the Moreland School way. Please don't do it. If you do it, then unfortunately there will be some consequences when we get back to school. So just think very carefully about what you say before you post something online. If you do need to contact anybody, all of this information is on the website. Your parents and carers have been emailed, and there are Facebook postings about this. But for your information, if you need to contact either myself or any of your heads of houses, or indeed Mrs. Gately, then the email addresses are there. You can contact us by using those email addresses at any time. We will get back to you about that. Last thing from me is Mr. Venart and I spoke to you about having very high standards. In our last 2 assemblies, where Mr. Venart and I speak to you at the start of term 3 and term 4, we spoke about making sure you have very high standards. And somebody wrote about that as part of the Moreland School way. A lot of you have already done some fantastic work at home. Some of that work, we have got pictures of it and we have got videos of it, and some of that is going to be posted on our Facebook site and our website tomorrow before we end term 4. If you do some work today, tomorrow, get your parents to take a picture, send it to your teachers, and then if they think that is exceptional work, then it will come to me, and then I will put that onto our Gallery of Excellence home learning site. So please make sure you keep your standards very high. I really hope everybody work hard, take care of yourself. That's all for me now, and Mr. Chidwick is now going to speak to you about home learning.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to just say thank you for that amazing work that you've been producing already. I'm going to speak about home learning for term 5 in just a second. I'd also like to say thank you to the staff who've been working really hard producing some amazing resources for you this term, and they're going to continue with that hard work over Easter, so that when you start back in term 5 after a restful and peaceful break, doing whatever you can with your family and relaxing as much as possible, that all those resources will be there for you in term 5, ready for the amazing learning that you're doing at home to continue. So what should you be doing then? You need to check your school emails daily. You'll be receiving information from your teachers, and it's also a way of communicating if you have any concerns. You need to keep your routine. You need to stick to a routine with your plan of the school day, and there's a timetable on the next slide that you've been using, and routine's really important so that you know how to structure your day, you know what you're doing. You need to incorporate rest breaks, family time, and time for exercise as well. And if you have any questions, you need to use your school emails to ask your teachers if you're not sure about something. You also have your knowledge organisers from terms 1 to 4. You can use those to revisit information from previous terms to help consolidate that learning. So when should you do it? You'll see you've got a timetable here. This is on the school website for you to access at any time. There's one for each year group. And we've added an additional tutor time at the top with some very clear directions about what you can do. And I'll show you where you can find those resources in a second. You can see you've got the same makeup of subjects that you had in term 4. And we've got subjects, we've got break time, we've got lunch in there as well, and enrichment and reading and literacy. What you'll also have with these fabulous resources that your staff are preparing for term 5. Some of you have already had some live lessons where you've actually been able to interact and see your teachers and talk to them, and they've been able to talk back, and you've been able to have a conversation with some of your peers. We're going to look to do that in more and more lessons going forward as well. So you'll find this on the website. And if you look here, you can go into the same tab you've been using already. So first of all, go into the Home Learning tab at the top. Once you've done that, you'll see on the left-hand side, you can find your year group. So choose your year group and find that. But as well as this, you've also got these tabs at the bottom. So where I just said about assembly tasks and period 1 tasks and tutor tasks, you can find those in the Moreland School way. And the afternoon literacy session, in here, you'll find various reading and literacy tasks that you can use at home as well. So how do you access your emails? On the next slide, you're going to see some instruction that you've already had in your assemblies, but you may have forgotten or you may be struggling. So you can follow these instructions on the next slide. And I think it's important to draw your attention to the numbers at the top. So if you are in year 7, your email is prefixed with a 19, and then you can see working down. So if you're in year 10, it's a 16, and so on. And there's an example of how your email should look there. If you have forgotten your password, there's a website there at the bottom. You can reset your password by visiting, and that's available on the school homepage. And you can also click this link for the YouTube video to show you how to log into your emails. So when you're completing your work at home, you should try and find a quiet space at a table so you can fully focus. Low-stakes tests should also be completed without looking at the answers. And remember, the same as in class, they aren't there to catch you out, so don't worry if you get something wrong. It's to help you learn and help you identify what you do and what you don't know. If you find the work too difficult or don't understand something, it's really important you let your teachers know, and they will be able to offer some guidance. It's a very unusual position for us to be in, so we don't expect everyone to get this perfect every single time. If you have any questions, please do ask. At the start of term 6, you will also be issued with a cumulative assessment for most subjects. So just like you've had before, where you have a test to test what you've learned in previous terms, we're going to be testing your knowledge that you've gained during the home learning of term 5. And that will help your teachers identify what topics need to be revisited, so that if this continues into term 6, we can make sure our lessons are tailored perfectly what you need to know.
I'd like to just finish by saying thank you again to all the staff and students, parents and carers for their support in these challenging times. And just to emphasise again that an important part of the Moreland School Way is how we all support each other and how we're all part of a positive school community. I'd like to finish by saying please continue to stay safe and take care of yourselves and your families. Our formal term 5 home learning timetable will start at 9 o'clock on Thursday, 16th of April, with a whole school assembly, and further details will be sent out to you. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for listening.